So, ladies and gents, here we go. We got a best of 5. This is one of 2 quarterfinals. That's right, just 2 quarterfinals in this tournament format. Winner of this series moves on to a semifinal, and that'd be the same for the other quarterfinal. It's been a pretty short and sweet tournament with lots of games. China, one of the favorites. The SAX sponsor is a Chinese sponsor who's very much rooting for his team. Looks like I'm going to have to adjust some of the Chinese names here. But anyways, it's Land Nomad 4v4 to start it all off between China and Russia. And Land Nomad, you start without that TC and obviously need to place one. And I'm noticing there are 6 players over to the right-hand side. There's a group of like 3 and 4 over here more towards the north, which could be kind of crazy. And then there's 2 players over towards the left. So I'm actually going to start there. For Russia, we have Antagonist, who's had a really good tournament. Really underrated player, kind of new on the block. He's playing as the Huns. Now, the Huns get this horse. He hasn't moved his horse yet, but there he goes. That's really helpful on Nomad maps, and we saw that on African Clearing as well. Also, you stack that with the Mongol scouting bonus. I think that should apply to the horse, because there are Mongols on the team. It could be very nice. So that's Antagonist. He should have a really smooth start here with that horse giving him food. Over on the right side, then, we've got Dark. Dark is playing as the Gurjaras. And Dark is not too far away from Rapard. So these two could work together. Rapard playing as the Bengalis here. And then Winchester, of course, kind of the key to Team Russia. Vinch kind of down here away from his team a little bit. Vinch is playing as the Mongols. What's wrong with the trees? No small trees mod? We have small trees on. I think your eyes are too large. No, I'm sorry. It's a stupid joke. The trees aren't small. That's what they are. They're normal sized trees. We are all about a natural environment here. And so that's why we have not adjusted the trees. Also, the mod that I play the game with is different than the mod that I have to cast with. And I basically didn't switch the mod. So we'll change it for game 2. All right. For China, we got someone here playing as the Mongols. Can someone do me a huge favor and please tell me who is who on this team? Because this is rough. We got Lix, we got Yo, and then it's going to probably be Bad Koala or Vivy. Let's see what the command in chat says. It says Vivy is the one as the Mongols, so this is Vivy. And then the other one is Bad Koala. Okay, so this I'm just going to change real quick because... well, for obvious reasons, just much easier to read. And so makes life a bit easier for us here. Thank you, Capture Age. We got Vivy playing as the Mongols. Really important, actually. Both teams have Mongols. Both teams have their Mongol player next to one another. So that's a bit of a 1v1 between those two. Then you've got Lix. Lix is right next to 2 Russian players as the Celts, so look out for that. Lix likes to create the chaos. You got Bad Koala in the very north, playing as the Bohemians. And then you have, it's actually Yo over here, playing as the Hindustanis. Wow, so, like, I find the positions very fascinating. Could end up being very good for either team. But, like, Lix could be told, if they somehow find out, of course, that there's 2 enemies here. And I think he might have lost a sheep here. And he saw that TC. Lix just might try and destroy 2 players. And even if Lix ends up dying to 2 people, as long as he's delaying 2 people, forcing those 2 people to do something, it could be good for the team. And maybe set up Bad Koala to have a pretty chill time up north. And the longer the game goes with Bohemians, the better things seem to go. Do these 2 know about each other here? I feel like something was lost there. And there was definitely, yeah, something lost here, at least in Winchester's case. He will actually see the houses, so he will know that that's the other Mongol player. So there is a difference there. I don't have a way of knowing right now if Vivy knows who it is, but think about it from Vivy's perspective. They haven't seen yellow yet. It is likely Winchester. If you look at that mini-map for just a second, they know about red, they know about purple, they might not know about orange or yellow, but they should be able... I would guess they know now, because sometimes you'll see, like... you'll see a couple things with the sheep that I can't show afterwards. It says, salute Tristan, very happy you're online. Need my sleep stream. Winky face. Thanks, mate. Hey! You stay wide awake over here, all right? I remember seeing a Reddit thread where people were, someone was complaining. This is going to seem crazy, but someone was complaining on Reddit about the Hun horse and that the Hun horse was too overpowered. They were like 1,000 elo or something. And the devs did nerf the horse recently. They did make it slower. I think they did that for laming purposes. But you look at this here and it's just like, this is guaranteed Castle Age. This horse is crazy important and crazy valuable. It should be very easy for antagonists to go fast castle. And we've seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of fast castle cav archers in this tournament with the Huns on the Nomad start. So Peggy says this game might be a short one. I mean, by land Nomad standards, it definitely could be. Just because you have some players clumped up. But teams are still pretty spread out here. And two of the best teams in the world. Now, also going to ask, because I don't have this memorized yet, because I'm just completely unprepared. If someone in my chat could look at Liquipedia and tell me, the winner of this series faces who? I assume that's established. I believe the winner of this series faces Brazil. But it could also be France. Chat is trolling me. We got a Vill Rush here from Vinchester. Vinchester's going to kill that villager here for Vivy. So Vivy's going to lose. Oh, wow. Vivy doesn't lose the villager, actually. Vinchester stops blocking. The winner here faces Brazil. Okay. So Brazil's going to have their eyes set on this one. So, yeah, Vinch shows his hand, shows that it's him. But look at this TC spot for Vivy. I mean, he's got the gold and the stone right underneath his TC and the wood. This is actually a sick town center spot. Vinchester mining stone, though, mining gold. And still should have a pretty decent build here. So I think Bad Koala should have a really good time up here, provided that Lix does his job. So Lix is going to try and delay two players at once. I don't actually love the whole Tower Rush Spearman idea, though. I would have personally preferred Castle Age with Celts. Like, you got two players close by. You know the saying, Celt ETC. I would have expected that to be the approach instead here. We actually have Dark adding some scouts. And Dark sees the villager there from Lix. I know it's a little hard to see here with the bigger trees. I apologize. That should be a dead villager. And so, nice start here. Now, of course, Lix is going to have to worry about some of the scouts lurking around, though he does have the spears. Seems like a fast castle for Rapard, which he should be able to do successfully. Over to the left side, we've got Yo. This is a fast castle for him. So he will be up to make camels, most likely, with the Hindustanis. And then we have Antagonist with the range and Blacksmith, and a moonwalking villager, naturally. And he's also going to be going for Fast Castle. So Fast Castle CA versus Fast Castle CA MEL over here. And then in the north, we've got Fast Castle most likely into wagons for Bad Koala. And now, oh, actually, this is the first time. This is the first time where I feel like I'm getting really excited here for China. See that right there? That pushes Vinch off of stone, which could be the difference maker between Vivy and Vinchester. Like, Vivy's going to have his castle up, is my point. He does have to quick wall from a couple scouts coming in. He's going to get Mangadai out. Nice defense here from him. But yeah, not going to be as easy for Vinchester. And so Lix he's kind of delayed. I mean, kind of delayed Rapard. He honestly didn't do too much. But this is significant. If you get Vinchester out of this game, they don't have Mongols. Could be devastating. And what is Vinchester supposed to do? I think he did buy the stone here. I actually just removed the market events because in 4v4s, the market's used constantly and it's a real pain. And Vinch, I think he wants a forward castle. That is not the approach here, though, Vinch. You got to get a defensive castle up. You got to go up fast. He doesn't know that Vivy's building his. And Lix is now blocking the castle foundation, and he tried to block it again. But the first Mangadai will be out here soon for Vivy. Seems to have a cleaner economy, right? He's got some farms. He's got some sheep still. Vinchester doesn't have any of that. Oh, boy. Bad Koala bringing the pain. Bad Koala about to drop a castle on all of this farming eco. Look at this farming eco for Russia. It's all through the middle of these TCs, and there's a castle there now. This is horrible for Russia. And meanwhile, we're going to have some Scorps over here. We're going to have some camels from Yo. It's actually really smart. He immediately pressures the gold. And to me, it feels like Russia's just under so much more pressure than they were really expecting here. This, I don't really know what to suggest against this. I would say you have to go for some siege, go for some monks, but the castle you can't do anything about. You can't counterattack either because blue is fully walled in the north. And now Yo, he doesn't lose a villager. He's going to push back all of these vills. He's going to push back the cav archers as well from antagonist. And now antagonist is completely off of gold and is losing his vills. This is amazing for Team China. I really like the start down here from Vivy. I love the start now from Yo on this side. And I love the castle from Bad Koala. The only thing is Lix is in feudal. And Lix is surrounded by the enemy. But they might, like... They're trying to set this up to a position where they might not need Lix. The others might be so far behind on Team Russia that it's completely fine for Lix to still be in feudal. So... Oh, we also had scouts. These scouts killed 7 vills on Yo's gold. So Yo was not paying attention to that. Nice job there from Dark. And antagonist will stabilize, get onto the gold, and he could still be okay. And now Rapard is running with 16 vills. And he is nowhere to go. I mean, his TC's going to be surrounded, guys. Oh, and he's still in feudal age, by the way. I thought he was going fast castle. Something... I misjudged that situation. This is brutal. Oh, man. And, like, this isn't much better for Dark. If that gets spotted, that's so exposed. We do have Mangonel defense for antagonist. Like, I think antagonist is going to end up being okay. Like, he'll hold. But these wagons are doing way too much damage. And another castle now from Bad Koala. Bad Koala's fully walled in the north. He can't be touched. And he's just going to continue to pile on the castles here. Someone asking, is Nomad usually this crazy? It's... At the highest level, it is. You see, in 4v4s, a lot of castle drops. And a lot of that's dependent on the positioning. And they're really good at understanding where people are, right? Oh, man, is this a trap? This is actually a trap. These vills are trapped in there. The wagons continue to move along here for Bad Koala. And the Shravamshas and the spears might eventually kill off a couple of these wagons, but there's always going to be more coming. Now, Vinchester's done a pretty reasonable job. He is slightly behind Vivy down here, but he's done an alright job. He's making Mangadai, but it's still not... He's not ahead. And Lix... I mean, Lix has 13 more villagers than Rapard does right now. And, oh! Rapard, you better make a mill, bro! No! Oh my god, the villagers moving for 2 tiles actually moved into the line of sight of the wagon, and now that wagon has found all the vills. That's brutal. The vills started to drop off the hunt back of the TC, basically. And now they've all been found. Now it'll be a massive feast. I don't know if Bad Koala actually realizes what's happening there. And he double-clicked. Did he double-click these 2 wagons and select the third? Well, I'm not really sure how much it matters, because I still think Rapard is pretty much out of the game. But crazy stuff. You do have Rapard down here. This is his safe space. That's where he has 14 vills. He's soon not going to have a TC. He did actually just make a mining camp here so he can mine gold. He might mine into Bad Koala's base at some point. But guys, I've said this many times in my cast recently. I don't think Castellate Shravamshas are a good unit. I think they're good in Imp, but they're not otherwise. Once the little charge or dodge or shield is gone, they're still only 75 HP with 8 attack. And we had Bad Koala using Hussites against them, but also combining the spears. And it's like, yeah, the first couple volleys don't do damage, but then the next volleys just do insane amounts of damage. And so, this looks bad for Russia. The problem is I can't see a single player who's ahead. So normally it's like, well, you know, they're struggling, but there's this that can come in the future. I don't see it getting more positive in the future. Nice job from Bad Koala to pay attention to this, by the way. He's paying attention to that while doing everything else. Bad Koala's had a really good game so far. Dark's got like 30 Vills, Garrison, and TCs not working. And he's just surrounded by these wagons right now. Also, Yo just held. There's a little bit of a push, but Yo has held. Yo's got a 20 villager lead or so over antagonist. And so, I think right now Russia's struggling to come to the realization, or they don't want to accept that this first game they go down. But really, honestly, it all was set up through Bad Koala. Bad Koala, he could have stayed safe in the north, right? Like, I think that would have been a really good decision to just full wall and 3 TC boom with Bohemians, because in the later stages of the game, Bohemians are insane. But the castle drop onto 2 players, essentially taking both Dark and Rapart out of the game, was fantastic. And then, of course, Yo had a really good start over antagonists in their little 1v1. Yo is ahead there. And then Vivy was slightly ahead, just slightly ahead of Vivy here as well. So, or not Vivy, sorry. Vivy was slightly ahead of Vinch. So, yeah, everything kind of went right there for China. Good approach. And apparently Capture Age won't let me give China the win. We'll fix that. Thank you, CA. And I'm sure the stats here will also just reflect kind of the story of the game. It's funny, like, Licks, we didn't talk about much. He he just had to slightly delay Vinch. Tried to disrupt Dark a little bit. Tried to disrupt Rapard, but 6 kills, 15 deaths for him. Licks was not the story of that game. It was all about Vivy, Bad Koala, and Yo. And Bad Koala, 30 kills and 6 units lost. That Hussite wagon, it is a problem. If it hits you at the right time, it kills off what are supposed to be the counters as well. It's a very strong unit. All right, folks. So here we are. We got game number 2. So game number 2 is a 1v1. Each team will nominate a player, and then the winning player cannot play in the 2v2 in the future. Okay, that would be game 4. So it's been somewhat similar format throughout the whole tournament. Here we got Vivy. Vivy playing as the Byzantines, but the big thing is that Vivy is actually playing here. I'm going to, real quick, I'm going to change the colors. I'm sorry to do it, but I think this makes so much more sense. Vivy in the red. So Chinese player in the red, and then we got Vinchester here in the south. Vinch is playing as the Malians. But yeah, it's notable for me that Vivy is playing instead of Yo here. So they're saving Yo for the 2v2. They think Vivy can get the win. I mean, depends how you want to look at it, right? Obviously, if you have Yo in the game, in any game, it's huge. But, like, I would say that Yo is still a step up from Vivy in 1v1s. And then you can go up 2-0 here. I guess at the end of the day, if you do end up losing to Vinchester, you do have Yo remaining, and then Vinchester's out. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, for Russia, though, they need to get the job done here. They need to tie it up, make it 1-1. Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle here. All right. Gold is relatively far forward here for Vinch. Berries on the back, Stone on the back. Vinch loves his Gabetto, so that could be kind of nice. Pretty standard map here, I would say. Not too different from what you'd see on the ladder. Ranked Arabia. In fact, I don't think there's any differences, really. It's pretty much just your standard ranked Arabia here. Byzantines, very cheap counter units, and Vivy loves to be a bit greedy. So Vivy's a bit of an extreme player, so he'll go for lots of extremes on the front with, let's say, spears and skirms here. Or he might just play adaptive and defensive, and then he'll drop the town centers and then say, try and kill me right now. Vinch loves his little drush plays. So he's building a house here. I actually hate that house because it's blocking some of the wood line. But it wouldn't surprise me with 4 on wood here with Malians that he drops a barracks after this house. Vinch, the one that started the 2 militia drush. What was that, 2 years ago was when the meta started? And he's really solid with it. Gets a bit of early aggression in, and then still has a solid competitive feudal age time behind it. Now, one of my favorite things about that build is you actually go 2 militia, click up to feudal, into an additional 2 militia, and then you back it up with man-at-arms. So basically, if they don't kill the initial 2 militia, you turn it into 4. That doesn't always work out. I think that's weakest against scout builds, though. And so it's unlikely Byzantines will be going for scouts these days. Usually it's going to be spears and skirms. We'll see what Vinch has in store. He's trying to find Vivy right now. Good morning, Cringe Mood. Welcome. Thanks for the resub. Kaz, thanks for the 4 months. Thank you for making the Exploding Kings videos so funny. You should join one and have Dave or Mem do commentating on it, lol. Yeah, I don't want to play Exploding Kings with my community. I don't think I need to explain why I don't want to play Exploding Kings with my community, because I think everybody understands why. You think people sacrifice themselves for the content when I'm casting? Imagine if I'm in the game with 7 people with Exploding Kings. How long do you think I would actually last? I would not last very long. I'm pretty sure it would be casting again in like 5 minutes. But yeah, thanks for the resub. I enjoy them as well. No Kami games today, unfortunately, because we're casting this. But we'll have Kami games. Should be back next week, and hopefully have many more. So Vivy going for the big walls, and he's got a really nice map for this. Actually, you know, you don't initially think about using the 4-tile gold, but that's still 3,200 gold. And so he's gonna head to feudal. He's gone for full walls, and he's going to get these walls down. And so, kind of frustrating for Vinch, because he will have wanted to deny those walls, or just delay in some way, but he's not going to accomplish much here at all with this. He is going to be walled up at home as well, notably without gold in the back of his base. And his eco will, in theory, be better than Vivy's, because he's walled a little bit later, but also he has more villagers. And he may actually decide here. Scout takes a little bit of damage, which he wouldn't have wanted. This scout is most likely goner now for Vinch. At least in time. But maybe from this point, Vinchester just adapts. Guys, he had Feudal Age queued for a sec. And then he added more vills. I think he knows that Vivy's probably just full wall into Feudal Age army. And it's not going to be scouts, most likely. It's just going to be spears and skirms, because he's expecting a follow-up from Vinch. I think Vinch is actually going to go fast castle here. This is a crazy adaptation, right? This is crazy. Because Vivy is straight up expecting, because everyone on Arabia just goes 2 militia into fast feudal. So he's going to go spears and skirms. He did clear the scout out there from Vinch, but Vinch is actually going to go fast castle Gabetto. What? So I mean, it's going to be so expensive to get there. This feels like Drush fast castle Gabetto to me. Bills are already on gold. He can utilize the back stone. And now I think Vivy, because he hasn't seen Vinch in feudal yet, he doesn't actually want to make the range. So he's going greedy with eco upgrades, and he wants to find out what he sees. Okay, now he sees the vills on gold. Oh, man, the scout walked through there. Could have easily gotten trapped. And he's really confused. He's like, what's happening here? I need to see what's going on. But if he runs through, he could lose the scout, then he's through. And funnily enough, he doesn't actually see vills on stone right now. So Vinch went out one time and then canceled the idea. Militia for Vinch looking around on the front. What's up, Raisin? Welcome. Thank you. And he sees the range now. So I think now he's aware eventually this could be a bit of an issue. So maybe not Gabetto for Vinch after all. He's still 60 seconds away from the next stage. It does bother me that he hasn't placed any palisade walls around his gold. There we go. I think pre-placing that would make a lot of sense. And here comes Vivy. Yeah, Vivy's like, this guy's not in feudal age yet. We can't allow this to happen. I've got to take him off that gold. So he's going to come forward now. He's also queued up an archer. And he's sending skirms forward. So Trying to push Vinch completely off the golds here. And let's see. Someone says Civ names on screen, please. That's a capture age thing. I have no way of doing that. Vinchester's Malians and Vivy's Byzantines, though. I don't know why it's not up there. I think it doesn't work when there's flags. When there's flags, it doesn't work. Normally, it's default. Vinch, you gotta delete the other palisade, dude. You don't go the direction of the army. And Vinch pulls away from the gold. This is fine for Vinch. The only thing is, Vinch doesn't actually need the gold if he sends everything over to stone right now. So Vivy should probably continue to tower and try and break through, because this is like not the type of game he wanted, actually. He wanted his opponent to be coming towards him with lots of aggression and just countering it with the cheap units. But Vinch has made no feudal age army. So these feudal age counters don't offer much at all for Vivy. And there goes Vinch over to stone. Man, I love how Vinch has played this so much. Like, I mentioned the Gabetto early, and I know I have so many memories of Vinch playing with Gabetto. But you can't just design your strategy around going Gabetto without the rest of the game flow here. It's just so interesting how he just knew when he saw Vivy's walls exactly how Vivy would play it. And thought, well, engaging in feudal age doesn't make any sense for me then. I love the pressure from Vivy, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to accomplish a lot here. And it's going to be a real problem for Vivy when Vinchester comes over here and drops a castle that ends up shooting down that tower. Vinch is going to be back on gold in no time. He's going to have some Gabetto on the field. And Vinchester is amazing with getting value from his armies. So I'd expect some potential problems here for Vivy if he doesn't do more damage. He does have archers in the group. He's getting fletching now. And no tower or anything here from Vinchester. So, especially with weak builds, Vinchester could be in trouble. You don't want to build the tower here, because if you do that, you won't get your castle up. So he might drop a siege workshop here. Just to block the space and still be able to push it back. Nope, he's running this way. He deleted a farm. And he's going to drop the castle there. Okay, so this castle will kill all 3 towers. See, I would have actually castled here. Because I wouldn't have wanted my vills to be in range of the towers. But this actually makes a lot of sense if you can get away with it. And I think Vinch needs a building here. Like, this is actually really important. Vinch needs a building here right now to block this off. You can't let the units in, Vinch. And Vinch goes, hello! There's my blacksmith! Let's go! Did you guys know Vinchester was a pro in Tetris before he was a pro in Age of Empires? I don't know, dude. You should have used a different piece. Siege Workshop is fatter than that. But the blacksmith might still hold. This tower is now being shot down. Gabettos are on the way. Vivy still hasn't clicked up. And the blacksmith is holding more than fine. And Vivy's just going to desperately drop another tower. But, I mean, the Gabetto could hop out and start to shoot some of this army here soon. Vinch isn't back on gold yet, notably, so he can't make a lot of them. And they are pretty weak unit, but they do a lot of attack. Vinch is going to complete that blacksmith. It's cheaper, whatever. You can make an extra one. And, I mean, props to Vivy now. I gave Vinchester all these props. Props to Vivy for trying to hang around here and getting this tower up. Because this is going to be an annoying hill for Vinchester to deal with. And that tower goes up. So I think, like, had Vinch killed this, it's definitely GG. But now, I don't think Vinch can easily engage against this right now. Now Vinch is probably wishing he had a siege workshop. So he could make some siege for the towers. But now the Gabetto are going to counterattack. And what's Vivy's plan against that? Does he know? He just lost a spearman there. So he should know the Gabetto are on the way. And we just have a well-placed defensive tower from Vinchester just to stop this army from ever breaking through. So res collected higher for Vivy, but Vivy still hasn't clicked up yet. I think Vivy's hoping to find those Gabetto in the middle of the map, and he's completely lost track of this army. He's going to lose multiple vills. Vinchester's going to kill 3, I think. Just perfect micro. And it's so tough for Vivy. He has to immediately react to this. He has to also keep an eye on this army as he's trying to build the tower on the gold. He also is camping this gold with the scout, so that's actually pretty crazy. And Vinch might actually rush this down. I don't know. This could be awkward for Vinch, though. He could lose some vills. It's probably worth it to lose the vills if you take the tower down right away. Nice job from Vivy, actually. Oh, that's so good. And Vinch gets pushed off of gold. Wow. So Vinch almost punished for not keeping his army at home and going for the counterattack there. But I still think, like, if you go right now... Okay, he's going to go out to this tower. I was going to say, if you go right now before this is walled, I think you can still take that out. It might be worth losing a couple vills. So now this becomes a gold race for Vinch. He's got to find gold. He doesn't see this gold. He does see this gold. But Vivy is waiting there. Vivy's almost expecting him to go there. Vivy is clicked up. Vivy has archers. Archers, I mean, when they become crossbow, will be a really good unit. And Vivy is definitely thinking gold control. Gold control here, gold control here, and gold control here. Now, he sees that the vills are running out there to that gold, but that's a TC that he probably can't deny. And so he will reclaim gold after all. There's Vivy's archers. I'd love to see... Oh, he has 2 ranges, excuse me. Yeah, 2 ranges is really nice. Remember, he has horse collar for all these farms. That's a lot of farming eco. Lots of food income for him. The tower will probably stay up here. Vinchester really needs some siege now. These are 9 Gebetto, but once crossbow comes in, especially if it's crossbow and ballistics, the Gebetto can't compete on their own. And Vivy doing what he can here. I mean, this would be really nice for China. To tie this... Sorry, to go up 2-0. Not tie it up. And then also have Vinchester out for the 2v2. It could potentially decide the series. Those Gebetto are melting that tower. But they need to run. Archers were around. Nice job from Vivy again. And Vinchester still no siege from the siege workshop. Still no mangonel. Has never really been able to easily afford it, honestly. And his heart might sink a little bit to see that Vivy's up already. With that many archers, that's dangerous. But he was on 2 TCs. A little faster than Vivy. Vivy might do that still, but more resources collected now. Sorry, there should be more resources collected in time here for Vinch. A really nice game. This is like a really nice game for those that like old Vivy as well. Because old Vivy used to be primarily a tower rusher. He would tower rush and adapt. And then they made like 3 tower nerfs. And then, you know, meta kind of changed over time. And towers are not really a strat these days. You tower in instances where you feel like you're under a lot of pressure. And you have to do damage. Beyond that, at the high level... You don't see it too frequently. Nice find from Vinchester. And the second TC goes up here for Vivy. We'll make knights with crossbows. The knight, I think, is here solely so it could snipe the siege. Now, did Vinch ever see that stable? He should have, right? So he did, but I don't think he was thinking about this. He spots it now. Oh my god, gets it. Oh my god, gets some crazy house walls down. And then brings the Gebetto in. And then if he repairs... actually lost the Vil. But he'll kill the Knight. That was sick damage control there from Vinchester. I would lose that Mangonel. Gebetto loop around this way. But free vision upgrades here for the town of the Byzantines. Makes it pretty easy to spot. So I think Vivy's going to be more than fine here. Still going to focus his attention primarily on just keeping this tower up. We'll see if he can. He's got 2 knights now. The rest of the Gebetto are probably going to loop home here for Vinchester. But I think the knights will take 1 mangonel. The split micro from Vivy. Plus he could shoot the Vil. Oh, he gets the next one. And he dives on the Vil. He dives on the Gebetto. And Vivy playing that perfectly. Excuse me. Really well played. I think Vinch is just... Maybe he got a little too cute. And he wanted the counter damage so much. I think maybe this is a moment where Vinchester really needed to just have everything together. With everything together, with 2 mangonels and all your Gebettos, that's not an engagement Vivy can take so easily. But Vinchester also had a lot of faith that he could manage it. And Vivy's split micro was good. The stable addition felt perfect. And the Gebetto come home. And they're still so weak. Another one goes down. And Vivy's crossbows come around this way. Vinchester still has a nice Vil count, but we'll see if that's enough here. He really needs an army to be competitive with. This could be a start. I almost think Vivy got lucky there. I don't think he was actually looking. And it was just mismicroed by Vinch. And oh, we got a castle here. Oh, man. This is before we see siege from Vivy. I think Vinch knows the knights are on the way. Nice attack rounds. All 3 knights take some damage there. Vinch attack rounds again. Also gets a good attack round. I don't think the knights will get the kills now. Vivy's making a mangonel. This castle's at 40%. This castle could eventually take down this tower, but it won't range this tower as Vivy gets guard tower. So he's pre-placing this tower because he knows the other one's probably going to go down. That's sick. That's actually so important here. Yeah, because I think what Vinch was going to do is research fletching. And with fletching, his castle would range this tower. But now I think I don't think with Bodkin he even ranges this one. I think he would need to siege it down. It must be so annoying. It's like right when you find a plan to take out one tower, there's another one on the way. 15 villager lead for Vinchester, though. And his farming eco is ridiculous, guys. He's up to 35 on food. And now he's dropping stables. So Vivy's had a lot of attention to detail. He's had a lot of focus on the armies and the towers. But he has neglected his economy somewhat. Mangonel won't come out of this siege workshop, so I think those resources they'll come back, but I think that's a waste for now. And Vinch saw the villagers walk this way, sees a guard tower now, and has a decision to make on what he does about this, because this is going to be another gold that's towered. Again, this tower will go down. This is a fascinating game, guys, because like Vivy's going for full map control, full army, and then Vinchester has more eco, but he's not going to have access to gold. I mean, Vinch wants to go imp right now. How are you supposed to do that without gold? Vivy just came over here, pushed him off of this gold temporarily. It's not just the gold. All these farms as well get denied by that tower. And this tower is going to go down. But then the other tower will remain with crossbows inside of it too. And now the knights come back. Vivy knows what he's doing here as he drops TC number 3. I think if Vivy was on 3 TCs this whole time, he would be in an incredible position, probably would win this game. But that's not so easy when you're investing into all the army and all the towers. It's not like that was also a possibility. I'm sure it could have maybe happened, but there's pros and cons to everything you do and don't do in this game. Vinchester's up. Really impressive job from him. Ooh, and if Vinch finds this gold. Oh, he sees it. So he actually has that gold. And it seems like he can actually take some of this gold before this tower becomes an issue. So now it almost makes me think that if Vinchester can get to a treb to push down this tower, he's going to have all the time in the world here. Now, hold on, Vinchester. There's still a crossbar army to deal with, Vinch. There's just still a lot of things that can go wrong for Vinch. This TC is getting pressured. He's running away with Vils here. No, he wants the stone. But you see the crossbows. He has no army, really, like Vinch. He's going up with no army. He doesn't notice. He's distracted. Vivy is here. Vivy is clicked up. Vivy's going to slaughter the Vils. He's going to take down the TC. He's building another tower here. Vivy with, like, the 3-pronged gold denial approach. And Vinch, he might have the villager lead right now. I don't know if that's going to be the case if Vivy moves around a little bit more. Vivy is just 1 click away from killing 10 more villagers. This is crazy, guys, that a lot of the top 20 players do this. I feel like a lot of other players don't. Like, I for example, would have run with these Vils. I'm trying to improve at it, But it's like, if you care about these vills, you would have probably run. You know? But clearly he seems to recognize that his opponent doesn't see it. Oh, man, Vivy's insane. Vivy's insane. Look at that micro. Split micro, all the confidence in the world. These towers are up and hitting the vills now. I think that, I mean, Vivy's still a minute away from him. But as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, he's going to be in an amazing spot here. Vinchester still no, like, Imperial Age upgrades. But he is going to be going for knights. That seems to be his plan. And yeah, now the villagers get spotted. I don't know. Did Vinch forget about these villagers? Is there a peace agreement? Huh? What? What? What is that just passing? That's crazy. I guess Vivy just didn't notice them at all. Vinch reacted super late as well. Like, he pulled them after they should have been dead. Anyways, Vivy just preserves his army count. And he'll have 32 crossbows to upgrade, which is insane. And he's also going to have cheap camels, which is also insane. Like, Vinch has an army problem now. As you often do, he did take this gold now. You always have an army problem against the Byzantines. Whatever you're making, they have a good counter to it. And it's usually cheap. Vinch, does he see this? He does see that. So there's a castle coming up on the front for Vivy as he wants to win this game through the middle. There's a couple knights headed this way from Vinch with good upgrades. Vinch is just going to drop a castle here on the left side of his base. But Vinch needs trebs onto this castle right now. It's been a very weird minute or two where players are trying to figure out their next steps. Like, this castle doesn't even fully protect the corner of the base. And this castle is going to be a doubt castle. That castle will not go up for Vinchester. Disaster for Russia. Disaster. Vivy's only 5 vills behind now. Vivy's got the Byzantine castle here. Vinchester also was very late. Still new treb. Still no treb, sorry. No new treb is what I meant to say. Like, he never saw the foundation there. So I thought there was maybe a chance for him to get a lead in the treb war. And at least have 3 or 4 trebs on Vivy's castle. But that's not going to happen. And Vinch is just completely fallen flat here. He's going to try bombard cannons. So he queues up 2 bombard cannons now. But there is just so much going wrong for Vinchester at the moment. Props to Vivy. It's been a beautiful Arabia game. A really unique Arabia game on both sides. Vinchester's adaptation to go for the fast castle, I think, was correct based on what Vivy was doing. But then Vivy has adapted super nicely as well, and he's taken the map away from his opponent. He's being super stubborn here, too. We just saw him repairing this tower. Wow, the treb actually missed. And now Vinch has bombard cannons. And he's going to snipe the trebs for Vivy. So hold on, Vivy. Be careful. He does take out one of the cannons with the treb, though. That's worth the trade then. And still a big army type and an army count problem here for Vinch. As this TC is just going to be dove by camels. I mean, camels don't do too much against TCs. But it's clear that Vinchester has other things on his mind right now. And that's the idea behind this, I think. Vinchester doesn't notice this. He's not prepared to deal with this. He will garrison, but as he garrisons, he still has other problems to figure out here. Here, I think Vinchester could maybe complete this castle. Vivy notices that. But Vivy also noticed the gold in the back, guys. What a find from him. Vinchester's just so exposed. Vinchester has lost 75 villagers. I thought it was maybe like 40 or something. 75 is insane. And the only way he has a chance now is if he pushes the castle back in the middle. I think it's just going to be really expensive to do it. He's barely repairing the castle. He barely has stone to keep the castle up. Vivy's 1 treb. Oh, can it get the shot? The castle has 18 HP. The Arbalest could do it. Castle down. And with the castle down, that's surely it. And then China will go up 2-0. And they'll have yellow available for the 2v2. So the confidence in Vivy pays off here for China. And so to be up 2-0, to still have your best player available for that 2v2 in the potential game 4 is huge. And Vinchester, he had a good game, but he just wasn't able to keep up with the consistency of Vivy. I think there's one moment that I look back to in this game is where it all started to look like it was falling apart for Vinchester a little bit. And again, the early stages, all really good play from both. I can't be too critical. At this point, you know, both players have lost some vills. That happens. But I think the point of the game for me, where I thought maybe Vinchester had got it a little bit wrong, and it's just a small moment, was actually here, I think. Was it this one? Did he lose this one? Yeah, so he loses this one, right? Or did he? He lost 2 at one point, did he not? Here. Okay. So at this stage of the game, Vinch is going to 3 TCs. He's got an incredible economy. And if he has his Gabetto and his Mangonels together, he pushes this tower back. This position is his forever. But he still had his Gabetto on the front. And so he loses this. And when he loses these 2 Mangonels, it's such an expensive loss. And this allows Vivy to make a lot of good decisions from here on out, right? It becomes much easier game. I think if Vinchester was a bit more patient in this instance, held this position, the tower goes down, he could take his golden stone, the other guard towers, everything this eventually turned into does not happen. But also, it's tough because there's also such value in counterattacking. So that's what Vinchester was thinking. He was thinking, why not both? Why not defend the middle of my base and also counterattack? And he thought he had the chance to do so. But that's where it went wrong. Res collected was super close. But against Byzantines, when their imp is cheaper, when their castles are stronger, when they have discounts on so many of the military units they might need, you don't want a game where you're even on resources against Byzantines. You want to be ahead. And, like, that's a lot of golden stone collected there from Vivy as well. So he certainly had no shortage of gold, which was an issue for Vinchester. All right, game 3. Let's get the introductions in before we talk about Halloween again, I guess. We got Yo is playing as the pocket, so it's important to look to the flank where this has been the meta with Mayans, is the villager forward, the eagle forward. So there goes Vivy. Vivy hoping to delay Rapard. The other flank, we might have the same thing. A villager coming forward from Lix now. So Lix Dravidians. So China have a strategy, and that strategy is to lame here. And then for Russia, we've got Dark on the flank. We've got Rapard on the flank. But Rapard is going to start to lose some of these ostriches and zebras to the Vil. So I like the strat with the Mayans because you start with the additional Vil already as the Mayans. So it's not like your eco is much worse than your opponent's. So you're slowing them down. You still have everything you'd want back at home. Now, in this case, he's scouting with his Vils. So that's not something he would necessarily want. Maybe he doesn't get those sheep if he loses his eagle. We'll see. It's going to be a lot to look at because both flanks are doing this right now. It seems like the approach from Russia was to just research Loom and then chase this down. But in Dark's case, his scout is really weak. So he can't actually fight it off right now. My best costume as a kid was a Christmas present. I'm trying to think of my best Halloween costume ever. I don't know if I ever had one that's brag-worthy. I guess it depends as well on like how in-depth the present is. Lick should not lose his villager. That's a weak scout. And then over here, Rapard's chasing this down. He did kill the Vil, but he loses his scout now. And ooh, Vivy's eagle actually survives on 2 HP. That's big because now Vivy can actually go home and push his own deer in. That's huge, actually. That's the difference between Vivy having to mill this or not. So I think that China's going to take this. China's going to be very happy with how this started so far. When I was 6, I had a lobster costume. So I'll tell you this about costumes. So one of my friends in the neighborhood, they've got 2, they're like late 30s. They've got 2 daughters. I don't know their exact age. Like, I think like 8 and 6. And they're both obsessed with Taylor Swift, right? So this dude, like, he's not the type of dude that you would expect would deal super well. Like, on paper, right? Would deal super well or relate to, like, you know, Swifties, like young Swifties, right? He's like freaking jacked, right? He's not the guy that you would expect to wear what he wore. He wore, like, a Taylor Swift shirt for them. He wore, like, a hat, which was like, I have daughters. It was super funny, dude. And then these little girls are just, like, having the time of their lives, talking about Taylor Swift and holding these little microphones and blonde wigs and whatnot. But yeah, my neighborhood's really nice. I'm fortunate I have some good people around me. I'm not a Swiftie. Tunnel Vision, thanks for the 10 months. I'm not a Swiftie. We have a pause here. Saying one of my neighbors is funny to see. It's funny to see people in that element. Like my brother, he hunts, he drinks beer, he's a man's man. He works on his truck, Oh, what happened here? Someone disconnected? They're hoping there's a restore file. Okay, so one of their PCs dropped. I think Dark's PC dropped. Because, this looks like someone who's AFK, and he's down in Vills. And they're going to go back and see if there's a restore file. Okay, so we are here. We did have to restart this. This is the true game number 3, or so we hope. Now, the unfortunate circumstance that happened, they had started game number 3, and then there was a drop for Dark, and Dark's internet hasn't come back yet. We've waited a long time, and basically Russia was told, sorry, but you're going to have to play without him here. So we got Antagonist coming in. Antagonist playing as the Italians. His pocket is Vinch. The flank then is Rapard. But I'm going to skip over some of this real quickly because the other game played out enough for them to know the strategy from China is to bring Vills forward. Now, against Mayan flank, you're not really surprised by that. But against the Dravidian flank, you wouldn't necessarily expect it. So Rapard just brought in his Rhino right away. And is going to do his best to push in every bit of food that he can before Licks inevitably comes forward here. And over on this side, 2 sheep already stolen by Vivy. And here comes Antagonist to bring in the Rhino. And he's also going to get Loom. He knows there's a Vill around. He's going to try and stop this hunt from being lamed. Yeah, I should add the flags here. We'll add the flags here in a second. Now, the hunt is over here as well. So here comes Licks with his Vill. But this is all about the pockets at the end of the day. And whose pocket is going to have the better start? I think Burgundians could be really good here. But Persians could be as well. And the scout goes down for Rapard. Yikes. That's so annoying. Now you can't keep track of this Vill. So great start for Vivy. And then over here, Antagonist. So he was the sub. He was not planned to play here. He's doing a better job of keeping track of this. Now, you want to kill that Vill. And he's blocking. He's hitting. He kills the Vill and he saves the scout. That's perfect. He doesn't need to fight off the Eagle. He can just avoid that because he's a little bit faster. And so all things considered, pretty decent start here on this side for Russia. Pretty annoying situation over here for Rapard. All right, let me add the flags here. Mods, did we update the predictions, by the way? I think we did, but I just want to double check. I see some people talking about it. Game 3, best of 5. Losing team is out. So Russia obviously needs to win this one. Okay, thank you, Arbase. And D-Bent says, wow, we're really rushing through this set. Yeah, it has been. We have been rushing through this set so far. It's been pretty fast. Oh, man. So we've got House from Vivy along the front. And Vivy might go for the full wall. You'd expect the archer approach, but let's not forget that when you chop through the middle, and that's where you've got the gold. So you have enough gold to work with up on near your TC, and then eventually need to come to the middle. This is one of my favorite team game maps. This is a really nice choice. I love how you could still justify damage on the outside and the inside. It's like a combination of both. And I don't know how much total variety there's necessarily been in this tournament. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of unique units, for example, but I know in years past we'd see unique unit play as well be an option. So this could be good stuff. T90, should you place the mining camp in the middle of the sea gold? Ooh. Okay, the most optimal thing to do with this gold is you want to bring in 4 vills, stand them in the middle, and then place the mining camp here. So you leave an area for villagers to work within the mining camp, and then you can have villagers outside the mining camp. What you don't want to do is fit the mining camp in there like Tetris. I think that would actually be bad. Because there's less surface area on the mining camp, and there's more likelihood that you're going to bump into villagers, so. Then archers come and kill all your villagers if you mining camp like that. Well, yeah, but then you just get good. You just play good, and you don't let the archers come. But yeah, true. I mean, I guess you need a mule cart. You clearly need a mule cart, you know? This is why you should pick a mule cart save, just in case that gold happens. Fitting it like Tetris is so aesthetic. Oh, 100%. Dude, if this was Loey the Legends, I would be very disappointed if they didn't put the mining camp in there like that. Also, hello. Does Antagonist know this villa's here? What? So he has no clue that his gold and his stone is being walled in right now. Oh my god, is he going to notice this? Let's see. The Vill will move... Vill's gonna move this way still. Oh, and there's a Vill out of nowhere. He's like, huh? And the eagle's still there. Wow. Okay, now Antagonist will find out it's been walled. But this is super annoying. What a time to find out. So now no gold, no stone. He'll have to take this gold, which is still more than fine. But nice job from Vivy so far. We got a Drush from Rapard. So Rapard is drushing to get some counter damage in. Drushing without a scout is a bit weird to me. I don't think that's the best thing ever. Unless you made the 3rd militia, which he hasn't done. The scout is here from Yo. Lix tries to get a trap that will not land. And so the distractions might pay off a little bit. Lix is about to be in feudal age though. So Lix will probably go archers. Rapard wants nothing to do with that. Rapard is just walling up to play safe. Yo is going fast castle with the Persians. Vinchester going fast castle with the Burgundians. So they're both doing the same thing and building up towards stables. And Antagonist hoping to get the walls down. And Vivy's going to run home. Runs into a lion. But Vivy should still be able to get home before this becomes a problem. So... overall, the main difference here is that you have Lix building up with archers quite early. No one else is really doing that. And then the pockets are pretty much playing the same type of game. But this is some nice counter-laming. I think you could argue the militia were worth it to kill those, considering the circumstances. Because Lix also lost the goats, did he not? Maybe he snagged them at one point. But hey, I mean, you force 2 spears. Your opponent makes 2 spears to help with that. Delays their walls a little bit. That's pretty good. A stable from Yo towards the middle. And so this is probably where he'll focus on with his scouts. And I think we'll see a similar thing here for Vinch. Doesn't make the stable outside the walls. Makes the stable inside the walls. Which boom is better these days? Persians or Burgundians? And we shouldn't just say boom. We should say making knights and also adding eco. I would say Persians and Burgundians are probably very comparable. I think with the Persian TC working faster, they can definitely keep up with the res collected. I also think I prefer their knight line. So I think Burgundians should have higher res collected right now. Yeah, they do. I mean, this proves my point. It's super close. Like it is, honestly, there's like 5 or 6 resources in it. That's it. But that could be the extra Vill right now that Yo has working for him because of the faster working TC. Spear Skirm from Lix. Kind of a weird opening from him. I don't love Spear Skirm in team games. It doesn't really translate well into the later stages of the game. But he's applying some pressure, I suppose. Probably not going to break through here all that quickly. Scouts moving around here from Yo, and Scouts moving around from Vinch. And they're both going to find each other here. And we got Vills on Stone from Vivy. So Vivy's going to go Plumed Archers here, guys. Stone walling, and he will probably build his castle near his woodline here. And, ooh, it's going to be Genoese Crossbowman from Antagonist. It's all right. Also, what's up, Sports Beto? Welcome. So there was a game from Russia where they went Genoese Crossbowman, and it was up against Hindustanis, and it made a lot of sense. But, oh, man, Yo! Yo, coming out to build the TC, and he didn't pre-wall his Vills or anything. Vinchester finding some great damage here. This is huge. Because you kill the Vills, but you delay the TC. Vinch is going to have his TC up. The Scouts are also going to be through. You could argue they're trapped. They are kind of trapped. If Yo doesn't end up losing another Vill here, this might be worth. Trap him. Oh, there's a camel! Surprise! Oh, and they can get away. Okay. Well, still, not ideal for Yo, because Vinch is going to have his TC up already. Vill down, TC delayed. Nice job from Vinch. But yeah, Genoese Crossbow, like, they could be really helpful against the Knights and the Camels of the Persians, I guess, right? But they're not great against the Plumes. So I think I would prefer China's army composition on that side. I still am very confused by Liggs. I just love to see him go archers, because at least archers can help against any of the light cav on the other side. Skirms and spears is just not really going to translate well into the rest of the game. So we might have a pretty even game, because it'll be Ethiopian crossbows for Rapard. It'll be Genoese crossbowmen for antagonists, and then Vinch is going to be booming on cap with Burgundians. And Vinchester hoping to snag a couple relics in the middle, but a nice TC is up already. And for now, it's mainly light cap for Yo and for Vinchester. And, ooh, Camel gets deleted. That ends up being pretty good for Vinchester in the end, I think. The goal for Vivy will, and Lix will be to get TCs up on their own gold. So Lix will want one here. Vivy's going to want one here. No one has TC'd the C gold yet. Oh, there we go. See, guys, there you go. Plumes are on the way. I gotta love, like, this is how, when you guys know that I'm streaming, this is how I hope you arrive to the stream. You see how fast and joyful they are? Just bouncing their step. So excited to be here, you know? I hope you guys aren't like a composite bowman. Like, you know, composite bowmen with their cheesy little capes, and they don't look interested in being there at all, you know? I was really trying to think about this. I was going to say Teutonic Knight, but Teutonic Knights, even though they're slow, they walk with a swagger. So that could actually be you guys. And oh my god, the Skirms! The Skirms are looking really good right now. I guess the reason I don't love Skirm, usually, is because there's cav out on the field from the other players. But there's not cav out on the field right now for Vinchester. And so with no support, the Dravidian Skirms are going to completely own the crossbows. And I take it all back. This is horrible for Russia and amazing for China. Oh, man, these crossbowmen won't get away. That's brutal. Oh, man, it's like all momentum you could have had after that nice little start against Yo just disappears now. Really weird to me. Like, Vinch is making monks more than anything. He only has 2 light cav. Might not have the resources to boom and to also make units out of the stable. Alright. Someone said I arrived at the stream like a Persian war elephant. What, looking thick? And like a waste of resources? Is that how you arrived to the stream? Oh, man. Now there's plumed archers over here from Vivy. Vivy's got 12 of them. I'm kidding. They're not a waste of resources. If you watched Loey the Legends last week, Those things are far from a waste of resources. And now the skirms are back here. What's happening? We really are rushing through this set. This is brutal. It should be a pretty sizable eco lead for China here soon, because they've killed so many villagers and have such nice control. And still waiting to see if Vinchester could show up. Now you have a problem, though, because Vinch, before, if Vinch came up with heavy cav numbers, the camels weren't as big of a problem because there would be crossbowmen around. But now there's not crossbowmen. So now, actually, Yo can just make lots of camels and feel completely fine. Maybe the strat, and maybe why Vinch didn't make a lot of armies, because he wants the unique unit here. But it's come at a bit of a cost. Castle goes up. Vinchester does have 3 relics. So that's going to be quite solid. Genoese crossbowmen, they rely mainly on their bonus damage. They've just 6+2 attack. The plumes are 5+2, though. So I guess advantage to the Genoese. But the Genoese are slower. The Genoese also have less range. I think there's also a pierce armor difference as well. So the plumes... Yeah, the plumes have some slightly higher pierce, so... I remember not really liking the Genoese choice when the Russians did it last time on the flank. But last time, they were able to really get the Genoese numbers up with some cav support, and then camels couldn't do anything. But I think that's an engagement that's more than worth it for Vivy. Vivy is so good with the Mayans. He's 3 TCs, 60 villagers right now. And Rapard is the one struggling for Team Russia right now. 2 ranges. Still waiting for that army count. Russia still have a chance if they can get their armies to combine together. That's what they have to aim to do right now. Vinchester tried to move out. He's losing his monks now. Loses all of them. And now Rapard was trying to arrive to support. But now the skirms just chase him down. And they just can't combine. They're just being cut off anytime they try and combine forces here. And more importantly, Rapard is going to run out of gold. And so the choice of Dravidian Skirm is sick. Again, it's such a crazy thing, right? Because they're so weak against cav, but they're actually amazing everything else. And there's no cav, or there's not enough cav from Vinch. And so Vivy and Lix have just been feasting with their range units. Now you're starting to see the skirms get whittled down, but they've still gotten such good value here. Does look like maybe this is where the composition could start to be a bit of a worry. But I think with the eco that Lix and Vivy have right now, with the Lix that Yo has, wow, with the eco that Yo has, they should be pretty happy with how this has gone. Now I do think that you would need to go... You might need to go out of Camel at some point here for your Persians. Maybe try and get into Cavalier and Savar. Because Camels, as I've continued to say, they are a problem against Ethiopian archers. So there's a hard switch that might need to come for Yo when he heads to Imp or something. Yo's monk gonna get sniped down. And, oh man, what a position over here from Vivy. Vivy with a forward castle on the TC of Antagonist, which is on that gold. He won't be able to address this at all. And Antagonist has had a pretty good game economically, but it's going to get worse because of that. And he still is just as the worst archer unit. The Genoese need to be here. They need to be here. Ideally, they would have all the pressure on the Italian player so he could defend with Genoese crossbowmen. That's even better against the camels than the crossbowmen here are. Vinch on the way to Imp. The unique unit has definitely changed things. I mean, the first attack is 29 damage because of the charge. And, well, if Vinch can maintain his numbers here, get to the upgrades in Imp off of 2 castle production, some crazy things could happen. Yo still hasn't clicked up. Obviously, life is still pretty difficult here for Antagonist. I think life is difficult for Rapard still as well. Rapard is almost completely out of gold. But Vinch will be in the Imperial Age in a minute. with really nice resources. It's tough. You could easily look at this and say that the flanks for China have completely outperformed Russia. But I really think that a great deal of it comes down to the lack of army from Vinch compared to Yo. Because there wasn't enough initial support. Like, crossbowmen, for example, just doesn't feel good if you don't have the cav in front. Because skirms are actually an option. So, it's just the team decision-making here was essentially for Vinch to cut army numbers. And the rest of the team has struggled ever since. Now, there's a very forward castle from Lix. Lix is about to click up to Imp. What a game from him. Lix actually sends Yo some wood randomly, which is kind of funny. But Elite Custilier coming in. Here comes the raids here for Vinch. These units are insane, dude. They're really strong. The first attack is 11 plus 27. And then it goes down to just the base attack of 11 until the recharge comes in. But that's the Imp TC for Vivy. If Vivy were to lose his Imp TC, no way. Oh my god. He doesn't know it's the Imp TC and the camels are going to arrive, so he'll probably run. But dude, that would be a game changer right there. Vivy, funnily enough, should not repair that TC. If you repair in a panic, he knows. Now, some of that charge was used on the buildings. Meanwhile, big skirm raids here from Lix, but Rapart does get some access to gold. He needs to build a mining camp, though. The camels are holding. The camels are taking a good enough fight. The first attack wasn't with charge here for Vinchester, so he kind of wasted it. Nice job from Yo. And still really nice control over here because Lix can just make a trep to take care of Rapart's castle, and then Rapart's without gold again. Now, as I say that, we got Vivy taking down all the Genoese crossbow. All the crossbow that are remaining for Rapart on this side. He has a big army, and there's trebs from Vinch, and Vinch is going to treb down the castle from Lix. So this means Rapart might actually keep the gold. But I think that the army count is just looking fantastic for China. Yo's going to have more than enough camels. And then there's going to be 40, 50 plumed archers here for Vivy as well. And we've yet to see Genoese look good, right? We've yet to really see many engagements where the Genoese can actually be up against the camels, which is what they wanted. Just hasn't happened. We've got to switch to Elephant Archer now for Lix as well. What a choice. Actually really good with Dravidians. Elephant Archer in general, I think for any civ that gets them, they are really solid. But Dravidians, I think, are underrated. Everyone thinks of the Bengali Elephant Archers, but the Dravidian Elephant Archers are actually pretty insane. Firing speed. Actually, I always forget. I said they're good, and I don't even know what it is. It is firing speed, right? It's like 20% faster attacking? Or am I confusing that with Bengalis? What am I... Now I'm confusing myself. I'm pretty sure it's faster attacking for Dravidians. Go ahead, you take out that Persian TC, Vinchester. What does that do for you? What does that do? He was attacking the TC. Now the camels come in. He does still have units with charge in here. Ends up getting a lot of kills there. The plumed archers are in his eco, though. And yeah, so it's 25% faster attacking. That's insane. Because I think the strength of the Elephant Archer is its tankiness. So then you ramp up the attack in any way. And it looks very strong. Oh, is this a trap? Nice little trap here from Vinch as the plumes wandered into his base. Russia might have a chance in this one if this army gets thrown away. There's Genoese coming from the other side. The mobility of the plumed archers is no longer a factor now, Vivy. Because you just can't move. Over here, the Elite Custilier, they'll go for the hill again. Yo, a little scared of taking the engagements. Vivy lost his TC on the gold. And still waiting for Rapart. I mean, Rapart has had a really rough game. But maybe there's a chance because Vivy has lost his army. And there's so much army now for Vinchester. Vinchester's got 66 Elite Custilier. What we haven't seen is we haven't seen Lix have to take any fights, though. We haven't seen that big ball interact with anything yet. The only thing Vinch could really do is probably just snipe the Trebs to delay the death, but you need to push back at some point. And there's just so many castles to reproduce the army, to control the map right now for China. Skirms just ran right into Rapard's eco. Slaughtering him. I don't know what to suggest to the guy. This has somehow got even worse. Because he was up against Skirms before, but now it's a lead Elephant Archer, which is even more difficult to fight with when you're an Archer Civ. Okay, the Camels aren't here yet. The Elephants are pretty much one-shotting the Elite Custilier here. Look how tanky these Elephants are. He hasn't lost one yet. It's crazy, man. Killed 20 units. These units are absolutely insane. On this side, Vivy's still holding just fine. China will take that. The castle for Rapard is going to fall. And it seems like Russia is going to fall soon after. Rapard has a small army, which he can't really contribute with. It's a Castle Age army, actually. He's not even an imp. And disappointing for Russia. I mean, they couldn't play with Dark this game, which is unfortunate. They would have wanted to play with him, but honestly, China just looked on top of it today. You had Vivy beating Winchester in the 1v1. The 4v4 land nomad also was not close. Really, this game was the closest. And even this, in early Castle Age, this has all been China. Also, anyone else really impressed with Lix's performance today? This game, he really surprised me. Like, Lix has had a crazy eco. And his attacking with the skirmishers is very well timed. His laming, his defense, everything was super structured. Yeah, this fight is crazy, man. We've got 10,000 HP of elephants here. There's only 40 elephants. They have 50 kills. They'll sit underneath your castles. You can't do anything about it. Castles aren't going to get the kills either. Vinch had 70 army moments ago. He's down to 20 now. And the GG's called. And China will move on to the semifinal against Brazil tomorrow. That should be a big one. But a pretty dominant stomp here by China. I'm disappointed for the Russian team because I know they will feel as though, like Vinch will feel as though he should have won the 1v1 because that was close. I think also losing the third game while not having your second best player because his internet went out just sucks. That's also going to be disappointing for you as well. But overall, Antagonist is kind of a new addition to the team. He hasn't played a lot with them in the past. He got good experience with them this tournament. I think he's really good. I really like their players overall, but China always going to be one of the favorites. And yeah, China-Brazil will be that semifinal now. That's confirmed. So that'll be a best of 7 too. But yeah, Yo played like a beast. I kind of felt like Yo propped up Lix and Vivy a little bit more than Winchester did this game. Like, Rapard dying to skirmishers only happened because Winchester didn't have army on the field. So you can look at this and say Rapard had a bad game, but normally you never see skirms because the opponent has cav. And so I do feel for him because people are going to look at him and just be like, well, he was clearly weaker than the rest, which isn't the whole story.